Hello, welcome to CFC Fan TV. This is our weekly transfer show, seeing as it's January and I'm joined still by the wonderful Charles.
Yes, Soph.
Yes, Soph, he's got it on point now, how to greet me. Okay, yeah, so there's loads going on. We asked you all to tweet in your questions, and we love doing this, don't we? It's a transfer show, but it's a fans Q&A as well. It's our favourite, yeah, we like talking to you lot. We think you're pretty cool people. So therefore, yeah, so should we just go straight into it?
Let's do it.
Someone's just going to try and come to the studio then. Okay, here we go. So, question one. Kieran says, why aren't we going for Sanchez? I mean, I can pretty much answer this one, but you crack on, Charles.
What do you think?
Because he's off to Man City, no?
Well, he's certainly off to Manchester. Whether it's City or United at the time of speaking is less clear than it was a couple of days ago. Because we're not going to play, we're not going to pay the wages that Sanchez wants. I don't really know why, to be honest.
It'd be a fantastic signing.
As a fan, it frustrates me big time that we're not in the conversation for Sanchez. You know,
it's probably something that annoys Conte.
It does.
Wasn't he pictured whispering in something to his ear or something? I don't know what he said, but
he spoke about it at his press conference on earlier on Friday, saying, you know, it's a great price for Sanchez. This player is a 90 million player, which is true. And they're getting him for 20 million.
That's insane.
It is.
And why on earth would you, just as a perspective, why are we giving every single amazing player to Man City? They're all just going.
I mean, to be honest, I don't what probably would have happened is Chelsea are obviously aware of the situation.
Yeah. Because
they're aware of every top player's situation, because that's just the way you run a top club. It will have become clear that Sanchez has probably got no interest in moving to Chelsea unless Chelsea was his only offer, which it's clearly not. He's clearly going to go to Manchester City, I'd say 8 times out of 10, and maybe Man United too. And yeah, look, we're just not in that conversation, and there seems to be a theme developing where that's not the level of player we're looking at.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I do think it's a wages issue. He's going to be getting astronomical money.
Yeah.
Because he's on, you know, he'll be coming on, not a free transfer, but for a player of his talent, essentially a free transfer, which means he gets a huge whacking signing on fee. He gets absolute, you know, I read something the other day, he's going to be like the third best player in the world, third best paid player in the world if he joins Manchester City. Chelsea's wage structure is not that.
No.
So.
Okay then. Next question. Ian says, any news about Alexis Sandro? Can we sign a big name player this January?
I don't think we will sign a name on that level in January. The Sandro stuff's gone quiet. The latest was that Chelsea didn't want to pay that amount of money. Juventus are holding out for 70, I think it is, and Chelsea were only paying 50 or something around that. But you know, I'm not someone who gets too het up about prices. You know, I see fans talk like, well, I'd pay 40, but I wouldn't pay 45. It's like, it's completely irrelevant.
I don't care about any of that.
No.
I literally just care. Is this player the right fit for Chelsea?
Well, exactly, and you've got to react to the way the market's gone. You know, so yes, obviously 75 million or X amount, whatever amount you want to put on it, is of course a ludicrous amount, but that's the marketplace.
Yeah.
So
do you know what? One thing I'll give us credit for is that we do have a very good record of sort of signing players for when they're sort of at a low amount. For instance, Aspilicueta, Christensen, and
Christensen we signed when he was 15.
Yeah, I know, but what I mean is that we've had quite a good record of, you know, having these sorts of players and signing them. Even David Luiz, we made a huge profit on that. You know, we have got quite a good record of bringing in decent players and making them even better.
But that's.
It doesn't help our situation.
But that's not the marketplace anymore. You're seeing players who've had one good season in France go for 40 million quid.
Yeah.
You know, which even 2-3 years ago was unthinkable. So I really do think Chelsea needs to get with the times a little bit if they're going to compete at that level.
We need to get with the times.
But the other thing is I don't think left wing back should be the absolute top priority. I think we need more cover there. You know, I know a lot of people think otherwise, but I think Marcos Alonso
right wing back
is one of our more effective players. I think right wing back would be where I'm looking more. And to answer the other question, I don't think we'll be signing that level of player in January, such as Sandro.
Yeah, okay then, so that's that one. And then James, which is at Conte_genius, love that says, what striker should we bring in?
I'd love Chelsea to bring in a striker. If we do, if Chelsea do bring in a striker this January, I think it's going to be someone like Andy Carroll. I think it's going to be that level below. I think it's going to be a cover striker.
I think a striker we're going to bring in January is not going to be one that is amazingly well thought through. They're going to look for maybe like an impact striker, which I would say Andy Carroll probably is, because he sort of has that.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of fans really oppose that signing, and I'm not saying that he's a good long-term signing at all. But is he a good solution to our issues at the moment? Yes, I would say so.
He'd offer something we potentially don't have at the minute. I do
Goals.
think. Yeah,
goals.
Well, I mean, I think his record over the last few years. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be doing cartwheels if Andy Carroll signs Chelsea. In terms of what striker should we be going after, I'd love to see us sign Icardi. I think he basically guarantees goals. I think he's a very clever player. He wouldn't be cup tied for the Champions League were we to get him.
But the thing is,
I can't see Chelsea spending that.
That's what I mean. I don't think it's the fact that we don't have the money to get a good striker. I think they're not going to splash out big in January when they're thinking, have I really thought all this through?
No,
and didn't happen bloody summer.
No striker of that level is going to come with the potential to play second fiddle to Alvaro Morata.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do think it's going to be, if we sign a striker, which I think we absolutely have to, it's going to be a kind of squad signing. Yeah.
Okay, and then next question, which I quite like. David Matos, thank you for your question. Says, should Barkley and Cesc play in the same starting 11? I wouldn't know the answer to this one, to be honest, because I've give up.
I think possibly.
Possibly, but
depending on what formation you're playing. If you were to, you'd have to play. You couldn't play the two of them in a 3-4-3.
No, it'd be a very different style of football. I think we'd be.
You could potentially play the two of them with Kante together, because Barkley. I know a lot of managers have seen Barkley as kind of deeper than he's been playing for Everton.
Yeah.
Or has played, in the past. So he would offer you a lot of kind of thrust going forward, and Barkley's sort of good technically, but I wouldn't see why not, as long as there was a kind of defensive midfielder with them. But I couldn't see Fabregas and Barkley together in a two. No chance.
Yeah. Okay then, so there you go. And then Tom says, which is Millsy_TC, says, if you could have one Man City player from their current team at Chelsea, who would it be?
Oh, that's a great question.
We like it. We like this question, Tom.
God, I'd take a few.
One I wouldn't have, which might shock you, is Kevin De Bruyne, just because I don't like.
I would. He's one of the best players. He's one of the best players in the Premier League.
Yes, he is, of course. But I'm just saying, if he come back to Chelsea, I think it'd just be another round two.
Well, no.
I'd rather take on somebody else.
Nonsense.
No, I would. You think it's nonsense?
I don't. It's 5 years later.
He loses crap again. Get his knickers in his waist.
It's a great question.
Do you know? I'll go with Aguero, just because.
I was about to say that.
Were you? Just because. Man has goals.
Man has
goals. That's what I love. Craig's laughing at me. It's true though. We all know it's true.
Aguero has been, I'd say, the best Premier League striker over the last 5 years.
It's reliable.
His future is in doubt at City, which I find amazing. I'll say something different then, and I'll actually say, I would have said De Bruyne, but I'm going to say, to fit into our team.
Sorry.
Ow, that really hurt. I'm going to say Raheem Sterling. I think he's been incredible this year. I think his pace on the other side to Hazard would be absolutely unbelievable for Chelsea. I really like him as a player, always have done. And yeah.
Just ringing through all the questions here. I'm like, no, Charles. Okay, right. Okay, this is last question then. Really good question as well from Danny. What's more important to us, bringing players in or making sure Courtois and Eden sign them contracts?
Sign them contracts.
Sign them contracts.
The second one, absolutely. If we, as I've said before, if we get players in, it's going to be squad signings. If we can nail down... Look, new contracts are not the same as players staying for 5 years. We know that. They're basically, in terms of a player's future, they basically don't mean an awful lot. It just puts you in a much, much stronger position. I think certainly the best news that could happen to Chelsea this month is Courtois and Hazard signing new contracts. They are the two world-class players at the club.
Yeah.
They're the two players at the club. I mean, that's exactly what I was about to say. Being a little bit harsh on Kante there. Because he's an incredible, almost unique player in world football. But in terms of players that would go for huge, stupid money, I think those are the two. And those are the two that I think would be the hardest to replace. And in fact, impossible to replace.
Impossible. Well, they all would be.
Because we wouldn't be able to replace them with similar quality. Same is true of Kante, to be fair.
Yeah.
But if they were both to sign new contracts this month, that would be...
insane.
The best news we could have.
Okay, so there you have it. There is our transfer show, our fans Q&A. We hope you all enjoyed it. Unfortunately, we don't have any, big, huge potential signings that we know of yet, but I'm sure there will be next week, as there will be throughout the whole of January. So yeah, comment below who do you want to sign in January, and yeah, we'll see you all super, super soon. Go on, you Blues.